Chat. Hello? Hello. Okay, I think you guys can hear me now. As I was saying earlier, I apologize for all the technical difficulties that I've been going through. And that, too, includes the hiccups and why I was late. Because why I thought I could definitely eat dinner at 5:45 and so 5:45 and still make it on time. Don't know why I thought that was a good idea. But anyways, welcome back to more Tyrion Cuthbert, attorney of the Arcane. I look so serious and sophisticated right now, but my model is just like, what's going on? Tracking is going burr. Tracking go burr. Which is usually how it is, you know? That's just how it is in the VTuber biz. I don't know if I really would be like this, but the path turned. So last time, we uncovered a lot of stuff. Yep. And I left it on a cliffhanger. Anyways, since I was so late, let's not waste any time here and just get right into it. Also, because I don't really have anything to talk to you guys about, so. Miss Tormia leads you out of the courtroom and into the city. Every time you ask her where she's taking you, she avoids answering your question. Alright, we're here. You arrived in an empty alley in the Frank seedier parts of time. Alright, and this is where she leaves us to die. As Miss Tormia approaches one of the Tyrion buildings, she's met with a large burly man who is guarding the back door. The man silently acknowledges her and steps aside to let her in. Miss Tormia, where are we going? I'm sorry about this. I'm sure you're confused. Please, trust me. I'll explain everything. Before you have a chance to ask for more information, she moves into the building. The man guarding the door looks at you expectantly. The entire situation doesn't sit right with you, but you still continue to follow her. Despite your recent disagreements, you know that you can trust her. As you find yourself further into the building, you find yourself in a surprisingly well-furnished room. From the looks outside, you would never guess that it would look like what it looked like. It almost looks like a room that you encounter in the Fragment Manor. As you enter the room, you spot several more mercenaries standing at various points in the room. And most surprisingly, you see Eris standing at the end of the room. You give her a confused look, but she simply smiles and waves at you. Sitting at a desk next to her, you see a man with an eye patch. It looks like he's been expecting you. Ah, Tomria! Upon seeing you two, he cordially welcomes Miss Tomria before turning his attention to you. And you must be Tyrion. Tomria has told me a lot about you. I see, but who are you? Been called many names over the years. My favorite has always been the Eye Taker. Miss Tomria, where are we? The Eye Taker? From the sounds of it, you already heard of me. Yeah, you just in a way owed you a bunch of fucking money that you returned. Miss Tomria, what is this? My daughter Iris is telling me all about your work prosecuting this case. She's his daughter? But I have to say, I'm quite impressed. Getting a monkey to testify? I don't think even I could pull off a grift like that. You're pretty much blown past my expectations. Why I get to the point. We're at a recess here. I have a trial to prosecute even though I am a defense attorney. As soon as you interrupt him, you feel every person in the room tense up. You don't even need the eye to know that your interruption put them on edge. Relax, everyone. Kids will be kids. I'm 20. I'm a father myself, you know. Anyways, I'll get straight to the point. Yeah, we're kind of on a time crunch here. I have a certain interest in the outcome of this trial. What are you talking about? The Lady Freyga has been a client of ours for a long time. I've done quite a lot of favors for her. The time has finally come for me to collect. That's what Steelwind mentioned. They all belong to me. But there's no need to worry. I know she's good for it. That is, if she can inherit House Freyga. I won't let you do that, bitch. What? Tomria is a good attorney, even without my help. If she's convicted, we'll easily reduce her sentence by rubbing the right hands. But you see, there's that pesky Slayer rule. Thing is, Cuthbert, I need Beatrice Freyga to be acquitted in the current trial. So that's what this is about. House Freyga's gold? That's why you helped her murder William Freyga? Please, my goals aren't nearly short-sighted, aren't nearly so short-sighted. I have big plans, not just for Beatrice, but for this entire kingdom. And I need House Freyga for that. Just like you needed Justin Wayne. Tyrion. Ah, Justin. It's really a shame what happened to him. Don't act so innocent. He would have never tried to rob Jerkin if you didn't threaten him. Is that so? Is this where he tells us that he only died because he was trying to return the gold? Do you think I just randomly showed up on his doorstep one day demanding gold? He was the one who came to me for help. I just told him to pay back what he owed. If he hadn't come to me, it would have been some other criminal. But that's besides the point. Enough about what I wanted from Justin. Let's talk about what I want from you. You can take anything you want, but you can't take the Eye of Horus. Oh, wait, what? You want me to throw the case? Ah! I love this kid! I'd have to beat around the bush around with this one. No one would doubt you, especially considering the amount of work you put into this already. You don't need to do anything. Just take a dive. And let someone else take the fall. No matter what happens, the court will blame someone for this. If it makes you feel better, I can assist Tomia defending the old man and his monkey. That way everyone comes out of this unharmed. So then what would William Freyga's death become? Everyone wins. Except for the fact that a murderer will be put in charge of House Freyga. Please, if any worse than the people in charge of the other noble houses. I mean, technically, if we go technical terms, Lucius Steelwind is technically a murderer, but he's a general, so we gotta let it slide. He's commander of military, so we gotta let his slide. If you recall, there's already a murderer in charge of House Von Sanctus. Oh shit, he does have a point there. They're all dirty. You've seen it, haven't you? They rig the system, they pay, threaten, or even kill people to get their way. All we're doing is leveling the playing field. Tyrion, please, just listen to him. How can you just go along with this? I told you a long time ago that there's certain parts of my jobs that I couldn't tell you about. Well, this is it. This is what we needed to beat them. Those rumors about you, they're all true, aren't they? Forgery, bribery, blackmail, you're guilty of each and every one of them. And you used him to do it. Also, you could keep winning. You blackmailed Miriam, Miss Tomia. Oh, as if you showed any pity for that spoiled princess. A dreadful thought just entered your mind. Steelwind. She was attacked the day Beatrice was arrested. Was that? I didn't know that what they were planning. Despite my confidence in Tomria's skill, I'm afraid there was too much riding on this to leave to chance. You gotta make your own luck if you want to beat the system. How could you? She almost died! I never expected her to strain her injuries like that. We definitely didn't expect you to take her place. So believe me when I say, I'm being uncharacteristically reasonable right now. How could you even consider working with someone like him? Don't you think it's a little arrogant to judge her, Cuthbert? What? You talk about defending people as if you two are even close to being equals. But she doesn't have the luxury of looking into people's minds, now does she? You told them about the Eye of Horus? The future of magic is changing, kid. Like I said before, I have big plans for this kingdom. But I also have big plans for you. Do you think I would ever? Tyrion, stop! To be honest, I hate it as much as you do. But whether you like it or not, we need their help. But think about every client you defended. Think of Celeste. If you didn't have the Eye of Horus, what would happen to her? Even if one thing went differently, Pierce would have gotten away, and Celeste would have been executed. You've taken chances and followed your instincts, and that's worked for you so far. What if it's not enough? What if the system is just too corrupt for you to fight against next time? With the Ice Taker's help, you'll never have to worry about that again. If I accepted his help sooner, I could have saved your mother. So what's it gonna be, kid? You already know what happens to that Steelwind brat. So I don't need to tell you what happens if you don't play ball. Wait! No. What? Maybe you're right. Maybe I can't always win against the nobility unless I play dirty like they do. But this is wrong! Tyrion! I'm not going to compromise my principles. Not even for you, Miss Tomria. I'm sorry to hear you say that, kid. I really am. With one motion of his hand, every mercenary in the room draws their weapons. Please, you don't have to do this. Whatever conviction you had slowly begins fading. You should have never entered this place. You knew something was off. There's about a dozen mercenaries here, and there's even more guarding the way out. You're nowhere physically as strong as Celeste, but maybe you can make a break for it if you get lucky. No! Celeste? What the? How did you get in here? My whole job is keeping this guy safe. You honestly think I'd just let you take him to an undisclosed location? It doesn't matter, as if one girl makes a difference. Well, what are you waiting for? Is that really her? Upon seeing Celeste, the mercenaries cautiously step back. No one wants to make the first move. This monster's aura, it has to be her. What the hell are you doing? You have her surrounded! Despite her command, no one takes a step forward. Look, let's all just sit down and talk about this rationally. Perhaps a different approach is warranted here, Father. What? Could I have the opportunity to speak with Mr. Cuthbert? I believe I can make him see things our way. Sorry, sweetie, but I just... Well, you've never been wrong before. I'll leave them to you, love. Shall we go, you two? Celeste silently watches Era with her sword drawn. But unlike the mercenaries, Era seems to be unmoved. She merely walks past her and out the exit. You and Celeste exchange glances and follow after her. That was close. I don't think I could have fought that whole room while protecting you. Does that mean she could have fought them if she was alone? You two are really courageous to a fault, aren't you? Eris, I appreciate you vouching for us, but I'm not changing my mind about this. Oh, I'm well aware of that. Why do you think I intervened? Oh, well, thank you. Is this really okay? Won't your dad be mad? I should be asking Tyrion that same question. You see your adopted mother's true colors and rejected them. How the two of you going to move forward? She's not my... Isn't she, though? She's lost any right to deny it the moment she took it upon herself to raise you. She only did that because I asked her to. It wasn't her choice. Oh, but it was. I don't typically burp on stream. It's just a weird question to be asking right out the get-go. Also, if I had a nickel for every time I was asked that, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice. How old were you when your real mother was executed? 10 years old? Eris? Back when you barely knew Tyrion. It'd be a stretch to even call her a family friend. Yes! Someone did ask that before. She was an adult in that situation, and what did she do? She fed your anger and hatred for their mobility instead of allowing you to process your grief healthily. Tomria took you away from your only friends and isolated you from society. She even homeschooled you, didn't she? As a result, you never formed any other relationships. You made your first close friend at the age of 20, and she was your client. Don't you think that's a bit sad? She isolated you because she wanted to use you. That's not true. That's not why she... From what I've seen today, you clearly have no idea who Tomria is. Even with the Eye of Horus, you're clearly a terrible judge of character. Eris, you're going way too far. To save you from more heartache, let me give you one last piece of advice. Eris leans in really close and begins to whisper to your ear. Do you honestly think Celeste will ever love you? What? I'm sure you understand now. Tomia can only afford to pay her extortion salary because of my father. You already burned that bridge. So where do you think the Crimson Demon will go when you can't afford her services anymore? No, she's not. With Flintheart dead, she has to worry about her mother. Do you think she has the luxury of playing around with you for free? Or did you actually think she enjoys spending time with you? Tyrion, you have to look at this rationally. Any support or affection she's given you has only been to keep you as an employer. I had to do a lot of networking when I was in nursery. Do you know how many times I had to charm a merchant into hiring me? Why are you doing this? Because I want to finally break. I'm just trying to keep you from getting hurt. It may seem cruel, but you have to be realistic about these things. You trusted Tomria, and she betrayed you. Try not to make the same mistake twice. Celeste didn't hear anything she said, but she seems to notice how it's affecting you. Eris, that's enough! My apologies. I've been told that I've been too blunt sometimes, but I do hope that you'll think about what I said. Anyways, the trial should be starting soon. We should make our way back to the courthouse. I'm genuinely curious to see how this trial ends. Hey, Tyrion, are you okay? What did she say to you? She reaches for your hand, but you instinctively yank it away from hers. Tyrion? Sorry, I didn't mean to. I'm okay, really. Okay. You can think about everything else later. But for now, you know that what you need to do. You need to convict Beatrice Frega. Court is now resumed for the trial of Beatrice Frega. Is the defendant prepared to take the stand? Tomria, I asked you a question. Is the defendant prepared or not? She is. If the prosecution still wants to move forward with... The prosecution will be moving forward with this. Please bring the witness. Do you still see it, Celeste? Yeah, it's still there. Should I reveal it now? No. Let's make a point of it. Wait for my signal. Thank you for agreeing to take the stand, Miss Frega. Mr. Cuthbert? It's my understanding that you were... that you were with the two princes for most of the night. Yes, I was. Which is why I'm still quite confused as why am I being charged with this crime. Out of everyone that night, I have had a thought my alibi was the most solid. That remains to be seen. Clearly. Says the blind girl. If you guys don't know, Beatrice is blind. Anyways, since you still maintain your innocence, you'll have no problem into going into detail about your supposed alibi. As you know, I was with the Crown Prince Aster and Prince Alsek most of the ball. I went there after my meeting with my father, and remained with them until I was arrested for his murder. Lord Steelwing and the King's Guard kept watch over me the entire night as well. I neither had the means nor opportunity to steal the sword of spell eating and break into my father's study room to murder him.
Objection!
Don't even get to cross-examine. Well, I mean, to be fair, we are the prosecutor here. That, Miss Frega, is where you're mistaken. You definitely had the means to commit both crimes well under the eye of everyone there that night. The most effective tool an attorney has is revealing a contradiction within a witness's testimony. It not only completely shatters your opponent's argument, it also makes the court doubt whether the witness is acting in good faith. Usually you use evidence to reveal contradictions like this. Now, Celeste! Abbraccio! Wait, what are you doing? Your Honor, the witness testimony is clearly... Oh my god, what the hell is that thing? Tyrion, get behind me! A monster? It's a monster! Somebody call the Inquisition. The King's Guard. Anyone! Your Honor, can you please restore order? Your Honor? Yeah, he fled out the back door the moment he saw me. It can't talk? It's a demon! It must be! It's just like the legends say! Can we all just calm down? It takes a while before you can get everyone in the room to settle down. Eventually, it was clear that the demon wasn't intent on harming anyone. At least not yet. The court orders an extra guard just in case, and you eventually be able to bring everyone back to the courtroom. Mr. Cuthbert, what is the meaning of this? Sorry, I didn't know it was a... Actually, what are you? Are you a demon? Why, yes! I am a demon! Demons actually exist? I thought they were only legends. Your Honor, not only do demons exist, the defendant has made one into her familiar. She's only blind in the literal sense. She's constantly looking through the eyes of her familiar to see. And? What do you mean, and? It's pretty obvious that making a pact with a demon is incriminating by itself. Tell me, Your Honor, do the laws of Guard prohibit entering in accord with a demon? They don't, but then my client has committed no crime. Even so, I would really not have preferred revealing a Moloton like that. Merletant. Is that your name? It's what most people call me. I suppose you have a point, Tomura. Having a demon as your familiar isn't technically illegal. But however, this does prove that the defendant had a way to commit the murder. All by under the eyes of everyone in the ballroom. She could have sent Merlium upstairs to the gallery and then had him steal the sword of spell eating. After that, they would just need to traverse the vents to the Williams studies, just like Eugene did that night. The fact that her familiar is a demon proves that she couldn't have done that. What do you mean? You saw how everyone reacted when they saw Williams' form. A monkey may have raised some eyebrows, but someone surely would have reported Miriam if they saw him. Tomria, your client is a master of illusion magic. Can I assume we can find the invisibility spell in her spell compendium? You might. And with the connection granted by familiar bond, she could have casted the spell on him regardless of where in each of them was. I'll admit that my client does know how to cast invisibility, but your theory raises another question. Can my client continue casting it unnoticed? Continue casting it? Isn't that the one isn't invisibility the one where you clap your hands together? Oh yeah! Every hour she just has to and do her hand clap together thing. Continue casting it. You understand once I go over the events that night. In an unknown time, someone stole the sword of spell eating from the Harrelson Gallery. Due to the timing of this, I'll admit that it would be logically inconsistent if my client was deceived. However, sometime later, my client met with the Crown Prince and was watched closely by the Kingsguard and Lucio Steelwind. Don't forget about that part. From the witnesses' accounts, including yours, we know this happened at 12:45 a.m. And since this time, my client didn't leave the Kingsguard's sight. It was around this time that William Frege retreated into his study and locked the door. He made a point of telling everyone that he didn't want to be disturbed. Then, at 1:03 a.m., Lord Harrelson finally discovered the sword was stolen. He reported the theft to the Kingsguard, and they activated the lockdown system. Shortly after the report, Lifa Frege tried to speak with her father about the theft. William Frege retaliated that he didn't want to be disturbed. Lifa saw his face, and they weren't any traces of illusion directly on his body. This means William Frege was still alive at this time. Unbeknownst to everyone at the time, William Frege was attacked by the murderer at 3:12 a.m. This confirms not only by Jan Hughes' testimony, but also the obstery report. Then, at 3:26 a.m., the Kingsguard found the sword of spell eating in my client's old room. The Kingsguard tried to arrest my client for this, but the Crown Prince told them to stand down. Finally, at 3:36 a.m., the lockdown was lifted. Jan Hughes reported what he heard, and that's when the Inquisition and Kingsguard discovered the body. The stuff must have happened before 1:23 a.m., when it was actually reported. In order to keep Marin concealed at every step, my client would have needed to keep him invisible from 1:03 a.m. to 3:12 p.m. Not only that, she needed Marin to wield the sword of spell eating to ignore the effects of the anti-magic field. This means he would need to be invisible for more than an hour. What's your point? My point is that invisibility has a duration of 1 hour. I'll admit that my client could have casted invisibility before she met the Crown Prince, but if she wanted to keep Marilyn invisible, she would have needed to recast the spell at some point that night. And as you know, my client could have done so during the night. Couldn't have done so during the night without the Kingsguard noticing. Your logic makes sense, but that can only mean that the defendant refreshed the invisibility right in front of everyone watching, in front of the entire Kingsguard, 2 princes, and Lucio Steelwind. As unlikely it is, there's only one conclusion I can come to. I had a feeling you'd say that, which is why we have a witness who can confirm that Beatrice didn't perform any magic that night. A witness. Your Honor, the defense would like to call Prince Aztec to the stand. I see. He would have certainly been close enough to notice the defendant casting magic, but wouldn't the Crown Prince's testimony be more suitable? Are you trying to say that Prince Alistair is unqualified to give proper testimony, Your Honor? He's 7! Of course he's saying that. The kid's 7 years old! Same brave length. It's like, kid's 7. It's like, he's 7! No, of course not. Is the prince ready to testify? Grow a spine for Lord's sake. Thank you for coming in, Prince Alex. Could you please hold your tongue, knave? You will speak when you are spoken to. You're the one on trial. You're the witness here, kid. Oh god, he sounds exactly like Miriam when we first met her. Says the one who pretended to be a noble when we first met Miriam. Honestly, he behaves exactly how you expect a prince of this rotten kingdom to act. Aster's the odd one out in the situation. It makes me wonder what makes him so down to earth. Your Highness? Mr. Cuthbert believes the defendant used her magic while she was with you and the Crown Prince. I already gave my statement to the investigators. This man dares to question my testimony? Yes, he said it, not me. Wow, the judge doesn't even think twice about throwing you under the bus. Oh! First the judge bolts out of the room when seeing a demon. Next, he throws you under a bus to a 7-year-old. God damn it, I love this judge. Well, very well. My testimony is required to strike down the redundant accusation. I'll bestow it upon you. Redundant? Don't you mean ridiculous? Mr. Cuthbert, do not dare to suppose what the Highness really means. His boots must be really shining from all that licking you're doing. What was that? Nothing! There's our clear judge defense protagonist judge banter. I miss that. You think Lady Frego that can't cast magic right in front of me? Don't be a serf. She was under careful watch of the Kingsguard, my brother, and Lord Steelwind. We conversed for the whole night, and I didn't see her cast any magic. She's been through so much over the last few years, all because of her horrid father. She'd never do something like this. You and Lady Steelwind are just jealous. He seems really convinced that he didn't see anything, but your doubts is that he's unintentionally lying. Celeste, usually when you cast detect magic, I can see magical energies overlaying your eyes. Yeah, there's always visible marks, magical effects on the target when I cast a spell. Marna was probably in another room. The Kingsguard wouldn't see the initial magical effect of invincibility. Even if there wasn't a visible effect in that room, she would still need to say the incarnation and perform a gesture with her hands. Right, like how you should repair Arcanium every time you scan a crime scene. I don't shout it! Yeah, you do! Anyways, she must have done the incarnation and gesture at some point during the night. Did she ever get an opportunity to conceal herself to do so? Celeste, what do you usually need to do to cast a spell? There's a lot of factors involved, honestly. Stamina and focus are the big parts of it. Assuming that she's in perfect condition, what's the bare minimum that she would need to do? Well, she would have to focus her magic, say in the incarnation, and perform the gesture with her hands, all at the same time. That does sound pretty conspicuous. She must have hidden it somehow. He probably meant don't be a serf, but there's nothing much to gain from correcting him. Actually, there would be much to lose if we corrected him. You may think the idea is absurd, Your Highness, but the defendant was clearly good at keeping secrets. She could have easily concealed her actions at some point during the night. A brief moment to say the incarnation and perform a gesture would have been all she needed. But I wasn't the only one watching her! But would they have really noticed her casting one spell? The Kingsguard are the most vigilant knights in the kingdom. They are trained to watch and counter a mage's spells. But the defendant needed to target someone who was in another area. There would be no visible incarnation that she was using magic, but she would still need to perform the incarnation and complete the gesture with her hands. He's pretty knowledgeable about the arcane arts. But as the Prince of Wyvengard, you suppose that's to be expected, even though he's 7. How many times am I gonna bring up the fact that Aztec is 7? If I recall correctly, you and your brother were with her until she was arrested for the murder. What did you speak about? She told us stories about what she did while she was away. She was researching something. Oh, what you said. Something about the old cult. Could you, I'm sorry, Your Highness, but could you add that to your testimony? Do you mean the occult? Yes, that's it. She was researching ghost demons. Considering who her familiar is, her research must have paid off. Anyways, Your Highness, could you please add this to your testimony? If I must. Wouldn't saying the occult is a fascinating phenomenon be more grammatically correct? Come on, Tyrion, don't be one of those guys that corrects other people's grammars. Also, he's 7! sorry. We just had to bring up... felt like I had to bring it up the fact that he was 7 again. Yeah, we all say things incoherently sometimes. You feel like you might be projecting a little. You're clearly sympathetic to her situation, but you must have been only a toddler when she left 5 years ago. My brother spoke of her a lot. He told me all about her. I could tell from his face. He was really sad that she ran away. Even if that's not romantic, Aster clearly cares about her a lot. I wonder how he feels about us now that we decided to take Arya's place. The prosecutor must have complicated feelings about that. She would never do something like this. You lady stealing her, she's jealous. What do I have to be jealous about? She's a fucking noble. And I'm already he's already my biggest fan. Okay, maybe second. Well, I can't speak for Miss Steelwind, but I'm just trying to get the truth. Liar! You just hate her because she's a noble, don't you? Lord Van Tank just told me about you. You just want to lock up nobles because you're jealous of how much gold we have. That's not the case. So he speaks something frequently. Actually explains a lot about his personality. Thus, what do you usually need?
Objection!
To cast a spell, a mage needs to speak in incarnation, but there's nothing says that you can't say anything before or after it. Your Highness, according to your testimony, the defendant told you that the occult are a fascinating phenomenon. Is that exactly what she said, word for word? Yes, the stories she told us were quite interesting. They really struck a chord with me. A chord? God, kid! I feel like this kid is doing it on purpose now! I see. Well, even if they were interested, your testimony proves that she did cast the invisibility that night. Are you deaf? I already told you! No one heard her say any carnations, nor did they see her perform any gestures. Unfortunately, your testimony proves the contrary. Beatrice Frege said an incarnation and performed a gesture right in front of all of you, without anyone even knowing it. What? Your Highness, there are 2 components required to cast invisibility. First, the caster must speak the incarnation au contre ordre and clap both their hands together. As I'm sure you noticed, the defendant has a habit of clapping both her hands to calm herself. Now that I think about it, that habit must have come from constantly casting the spell. The defendant requires Modest to see, so she must constantly cast invisibility to keep it invisible. Cuthbert, you may have an explanation for how she hit the jester, but she would have still needed to speak the incarnation. However, she did speak the incarnation, with the witness's testimony proving it. What are you talking about? Never said she spoke any incarnation. Your Highness, the incarnation for invisibility is occult Audrey. Now recall what you said in your testimony. She said the occult are a fascinating phenomenon. The pronunciation of one of those phrases is identical to the incarnation. I see. So she hid the incarnation in her conversation. And because her target was a creature of the outside, but that was outside the ballroom, no one saw the magical effects. This means that Moderant had the means to murder William Fergus just as Eugene did. Having the means is completely different from actually have done it, Cuthbert. Very few people have the ability to shatter the display case to steal the sword of spell using. And even fewer people had a familiar small enough to traverse the vents. Which also makes Harrelson's familiar quite the likely suspect. And unlike my client's familiar, he admitted to breaking into William's study that night. If your client's familiar is truly innocent, then why not have him testify before the courts? Well, I see. Well, it's not if he's the first unprecedented witness we had today. It is. Well, Mara, I'm willing to testify, Mara. You see, Tamara Diller with Beatrice and Mara. You can't hear what they're saying, but they're clearly in disagreement with each other. Mara in particular seems the most vocal about his displeasure. Your Honor, unfortunately, Miriam is unwilling to testify. Why the change of heart? My client's familiar may be a demon, but he's afforded the same right as any other person. He's not obliged to testify. Look at Miriam as he's grinding his very sharp teeth together. For some reason, he appears to be looking at you with intense hatred. Why are they being so secretive all of a sudden anyways? Wouldn't be... A witness can refuse to testify to avoid incriminating themselves, but refusal to testify is the suspicion of it itself. Tamara has no issues with Beatrice taking the stand earlier, so why would she change her tune when it comes to Marahafa-san? Despite what she said, Mara-san seems like he disagrees with their decision the most. Is it possible that he was the weakest link of the three of them? If so, he might be the key to implicating them. In accordance to the legends, demons take great pride in their ability to deceive and corrupt people. You wonder. I see. Madam is well in his right, within his rights to refuse, if that's what he truly wants. It is. Well, I suppose it's for the best. I doubt he'll be able to collaborate your story at all. Martin grinds his teeth together. It sounds like metal grinding metal. Oh god, that sound is awful. I had to deal with it at work one time. It was awful. Considering his diminutive figure, I don't blame him for being a coward. Mr. Cuthbert, could you please refrain from provoking the literal demon? Oh, it's fine, Your Honor. He can't do anything without his master's word. And between him and the defendant, it's clear that Beatrice is the brains of the operations. You shut your filthy mouth, your celestial mouth. Mariam, what are you doing? I will not stand here and be assaulted by a bloody Heavenborn. Heavenborn. I'm still within my contract, and I will not flee like the likes of him. You want my testimony? I'll give you my goddamn testimony. My goddamn testimony. Objection. Your Honor, my client does not consent to having her familiar testify. Tormia, didn't you say earlier that one of them is afforded the same rights as any other person? He has the right to refuse to testify, but only he can decide if he wants to exercise it. And he clearly intends on giving it. Clever. Oh, yeah. So, Miriam, why did you testify what you were doing the night of the murder? Gladly. I provided a sight to my keeper while she spoke to the princess. I'll admit that she did cast invisibility on me during their conversation. She needed to keep me hidden after all. But I never left the room where my master was. Nor did I steal the sword of spell eating. You have nothing on me, Heavensborn. You didn't even have proof that I entered William Frega's study. A caster can also choose to see through the eyes as long as they concentrate, and only the caster is. Wait. Yeah. How would they be able to use familiar bond with the anti-magic lockdown? Or do you have any evidence to support your alibi? I only speak the truth, Heavensborn. There are mages other than my keeper that could have stolen the sword. By your own admission, none of your witnesses saw me the night of the murder. The one lacking evidence is you. He has a point, but you still need definite proof that he ties him to the murder. Presenting contradicting evidence may not be possible. However, he's clearly lying in his testimony, and there's something strange about the way he's speaking. Why is he pausing so much? You're not seeing any thoughts to the eye, but perhaps you can try to interpret it with the meaning of his words. Is it something that you frequently do? Yes, my keeper accidentally left her completely blind. She looks through my eyes to see her surroundings. And she did look through your eyes when she was with the princess. Yes, she did. Took a bit of pause before answering your question. I meant she did cast invisibility. Wait, does that mean she normally casts invisibility every hour? My keeper is a powerful mage, and my pact with her has only made her stronger. Wow, that's actually really impressive. Really? Casting them may look effortless, but continually casting spells takes a lot of stamina out of the caster. She must have a lot of stamina. She can cast a high-level illusion every hour. And did your master leave the room while she was with the princess? No. I'm sure you remember, my keeper was under careful watch of the king's guard and used steel wind. And you maintain that you never left the ballroom. As I said, I never left the room where my master was. His habit of pausing before he responds to you, it only happens to happen sometimes. Is this some dynamic accent or something else? Beatrice was the one of few mages present that could have shattered glass. Yes, but being able to do something and actually doing something are two different things. He's right. You won't be able to convince Beatrice until you connect the mouse to the murder. So you have a feeling. He's still the one going to give it to you. Why do you keep calling me that? Oh, does the Heavenborn not know the nature of his blood? Your blood? Could you be referring to your mother? Wait, do you know where my abilities come from? Oh, how marvelous. You don't know, do you? If you make a pact with me, child, I can tell you the nature of your blood, and much, much more. Mr. Cuthbert, please don't make deals with the devil in my courtroom. No, don't worry. We'll make deals with the devil later. I wasn't planning to, Your Honor. He clearly knows something, but making a deal with the demon is just asking for trouble. Could he also just be trying to distract you? You should stand to ask. He's definitely more direct than most witnesses. Yeah, but he's so clearly lying. And there's something off about the way he's speaking. He pauses before certain statements. You need to interpret...
Objection!
Yeah, because here's the thing. When the lockdown went happen, the invisibility would go off and everybody would have seen him if he was in the ballroom. He keeps taking pauses before his certain statements, but not all of them. And more importantly, his word choices are different. Did he slip up? Muslim, it looks like you misspoke and used the wrong word. What? Throughout most of your testimony, you referred to Beatrice Frege as your keeper, but you referred to her as your master during one statement. Why is that? For the first time, he doesn't have a response. So I'll ask you again, did you leave the ballroom that night? I didn't leave the room where my master was. He's using the word master again, even though you pointed it out. Why isn't he correcting it? Does that mean he was intentionally using that term? If so, why? What was the statement? Okay. If you want to take his word at face value, his master is referring to someone who isn't Beatrice. And if Beatrice isn't his master, then his statement, I never left in the room where my master was, could technically be true. But why even bother making that distinction? He's clearly no mortal hang-up. He clearly has no mortal hang-ups about committing murder. He could have just lied. Why would a man simply lie? Demons apparently pride themselves on tricking and corrupting humans, so why wouldn't he just lie in his testimony? No, it can't be. Demons clearly are different from humans. But would they seriously have a limitation like that? It would explain why Tommy and Beatrice were so opposed for having him testify. The only reason... There's only one way to know for sure. Witness, can you repeat the following statement for me? Tyrion Colbert's hair is green. What kind of ridiculous request is that? Another pause. I'm afraid I must agree, Mr. Colbert. Please don't waste our time. I'm just conducting a little experiment, Your Honor. So I'll ask you again, Melham. Say the following phrase. Tyrion Colbert's hair is green. Your Honor, Colbert is clearly making trivial requests to stall for time. His request is not worth the response from the witness. That's not what I'm doing, Tormia, and I think you know that. Mariam, we truly don't know much about demons aside from the stories told in myths. Is it possible that demons are physically unable to lie? Damn it! I'm sorry, Mr. Colbert, but that seems quite ridiculous. Why wouldn't the witness be capable of lying? I generally don't know, Your Honor, but his testimony speaks for itself. He can easily refute it by granting my request. Say Tyrion Colbert's hair is green, witness. You said it yourself. Tyrion Colbert's hair is green. That's not what I asked for, witness. Repeat the statement I told you, word for word, nothing after or before it.
Objection.
Your Honor, the prosecution's argument is absurd. The witness is not obligated to fulfill such an outrageous request. I might be compelled to agree with you, Miss Tomia. If the witness wasn't clearly avoiding fulfilling that request, well, we're all waiting, Marathon. You can easily prove me wrong by repeating my statement plainly. Ah, you filthy heavens born. Say it, Maron. Tyrion Colbert's hair is... Tyrion's Colbert's hair is... blonde. Yep. Technically, it's a dirty blonde. Oh, shut up! Wow, we're gonna go technical here! Well, if we're gonna say that, my hair is technically a red-brown. Is Mr. Colbert correct, madam? Are you actually unable to lie? I think his silence speaks for itself, Your Honor. Remarkable. I would never have imagined. And with that, proving my case becomes a much simpler matter. Barnum, did you murder William Frege? I'm sure you understand, witness. Under these circumstances, staying silent is basically an admission of guilt. You have no reason to stay quiet, Mariam. Tell him the truth. Lady Beatrice, what are you? I believe it's time to come clean. Don't you, Miriam? I see. So that's your play. Don't think you can just stall for time, Miss Frege. Mariam has no choice but to answer the question. Do it, Mariam. Tell the court the truth. To answer your question, yes. I did murder William Frege. What are you doing? Miss Frege, does this mean you're confessing to the murder? Oh, Your Honor, I'm not admitting to anything. This confession comes from Mariam himself. But your own familiar just... Let me ask you a question, Mariam. Did I order you to murder my father? No, you did not, Lady Beatrice. What are you talking about? You're lying, aren't you? We just kind of proved that demons can't lie, Tyrion. You kind of proved it yourself. Demons are physically unable to lie, Mr. Colbert. Damn it, she's right. She must have done something. She planned for this. She must have arranged this thing so that the statement would technically be true. She could have asked someone else to give the orders. She could have just implied it. Either way, she can't just plead ignorance and blame everything on Maron. Still, this isn't over. Oh, is that so? Let me tell you, this trial was over the moment Arya turned her blade against me. I don't care who you are, man, king, or demon, you're not getting away with this. Oh, I do love the the gravitas behind that, but I wonder how long that it would last. Hit me with your best shot, Havensborn. Beatrice Rega, you may have not technically ordered your father's murder, but you clearly are acting with malice. You brought something dangerous into the manor, something that you knew would harm your father. Oh, really? And what would that be? How is that so dangerous? But so dangerous that implies lethal intent. Worth a shot. Haha! You brought Madeline into Frega's manners that night. You were clearly planning to murder your father from the start. Ha! I require Madeline to see. That doesn't imply lethal intent. But you brought a demon into that house. As a result, your father was killed. That's hardly an innocent mistake. My client specifically asked that her father's if familiars were allowed. We even received a written legal confirmation beforehand. But he couldn't have possibly expected her to bring in a demon. He didn't specify not to do this. The presence of Martha doesn't break any of his rules, nor any laws made by the kingdom. Right, you are, Tarmia. I can hardly be blamed if my familiar acts without my knowledge. How can you be blameless in Martha's actions? He's your familiar. By the same logic, shouldn't we also blame Lord Harrelson for the action of his pet monkey? If I recall, he broke into the study, tampered with the crime scene, and then left my father's body without reporting it. Miriam and Eugene's are intelligent, sentient creatures. They have their own embodiment. Their keepers aren't legally responsible for their actions. Damn it, she's playing devil's advocate. But you suppose that's fitting for her. But you still cast invisibility to keep Marv hidden that night. Mr. Cuthbert, I always cast invisibility on Marv. I can't very well let people see him. Face it, Mr. Cuthbert, you have nothing on me. Every crime related to the murder was committed by Martham. Beatrice, Martham required your magic to break the wards regarding the sort of spell eating. You may be unable to explain why you cast invisibility that night, but you can explain why you cast an evocation spell powerful enough to shatter that display case. Oh, that? I almost forgotten. I plead guilty. What? To the charge of Grand Sapphire. I order my elves to help me steal that artifact so I could sell it on the black market. I would never imagine that he would use it to murder my father. Right, it doesn't matter if she's found guilty of stealing the sword. The Slayer rule only takes effect if she's found to be responsible for her father's death. Damn it! Is there seriously nothing you can do? Mothman will take the fall on behalf of... Are you willing? Oh, yes! Mothman, the sentence for first-degree murder is death. Are you really willing to die for your keeper's crimes? Oh, you stupid Heavensborns, demons never truly die. When our bodies are destroyed, we return to the abyssal hell. Hell? If I were to die in accordance with your laws, I'd only return to my plane unharmed. What? Even if I could die, a fate much worse than death awaits for me if I fall. Ugh, those three are a pain to argue against when they're together. You can't break Beatrice's confidence at all. So, do you have anything else, Mr. Cuthbert? I didn't think so. Your Honor, it appears we found the true culprit. I can't believe you killed my father, Marna. I'm so cross with you. I should give my apologies. I won't do it again. Don't worry, I'll forgive you. Now then, is there any reason why this trial hasn't ended already, Your Honor? Come on, don't you have anything else? There's only one thing. Damn it, not again! Oh, is that all you can do now? Glare at me. What? Malsum, what did you just do? I've been watching him. He's been using an old celestial trick. But it's weak. Your divine gaze won't work here, heavens born. You! It looks like that was your last piece, Cuthbert. No, this can't be how it ends. Not after you come this far. What is it that you like to say in these situations? Checkmate, Cuthbert. Well, I have to say it was one of the more eventful trials that I've overseen. Oh, where's Arya to the rescue? Arya! I thought we were in this together! It was many things, if not rather enlightened, but I suppose it all ends the same. Just the prosecution losing. Come on, think of something, anything. While I find the defendant's actions quite suspicious, I must agree with their argument. Aside from the theft of the Lord Harrelson exhibits, none of Miss Frega's actions that night are unlegal under Wavengard's law, and there are no proof that the defendant is responsible for her familiar's actions. With these revelations, I see no room for debate. We will be taking a brief recess. I will announce my verdict once we resume. Damn it! It's just seriously how it's gonna end? After everything you've gone through to get here! This world is bleak, merciless, and unforgiving. But I've seen you. I know how bright the light within you is. Use my eyes. Peer beyond the divine gate as I once did. My friend called you a heavensborn, and your mother told you that there is a light within you. You have no idea what it means. What it even is the divine gate. Why do you have the Eye of Horus? Why are you able to read people's minds? You've been so lost lately, but you thought you finally figured out who you were supposed to be. But all of this, everything you've been working towards, it was all a lie. You spent your whole life trying to be like Miss Tormia. But is she even like her? No, she just wanted to raise you into a tool for the Eye Taker. She was never your guardian. She was never your mother. Your real mother died years ago. Was Eris right? Is everyone in your life just trying to use you? Looking back on it, you had no idea what to do with yourself since your mother died. You've just been making a mistake after mistake, leaving Arya, trusting Tomria, becoming a defense attorney. You've always just done as you're told. You never once made a pass for yourself. But you saved Celeste, and Wallace, and Drakian. And when no one else would stand up for them. Was helping them a mistake? You fought for a dream that doesn't exist, but that doesn't mean you can't make it real. It's true that you followed Tomia's lead, but you've always done what you thought was right above anything else. You wouldn't have stood up to a criminal if you truly didn't know right from wrong, and you wouldn't be standing here if you were just done as you were told. What do I do? I'm not gonna tell you that. You already know the answer. You've always known the answer. You take a deep breath and relax your thoughts. How do you prove that Beatrice ordered Maria? Situations can't seem hopeless sometimes, but there's always a way to win the end. have for evidence. Wait. In order to convince Beatrice, I need to prove that she was responsible for Miriam's actions. People leave trails. Even when they think they committed the perfect crime, something always gets left behind. There has to be something that proves Beatrice gave Madame the orders. Beatrice's relationship with Miriam is clearly different than a relationship between two humans. There's a specific way their relationship works, or their pact, as Madame calls it. Wasn't there something that someone said? But what was it? Who told you something about demonic pasts? It was Haraldson! Oh right! The sword of spell eating said that has been used to has been forged using a pact between a demon and a mage. Isn't it making a pact with the demon just asking for trouble? They'd definitely betray you the first chance they got. Well, legends say that demons often drafted blood contracts for this reason. Wait, do you mean like a legally binding document? The concept is similar, but once you sign a blood contract, both of you and the demon are magically compelled to fulfill its terms. That's right, Beatrice must have made a blood contract with him. A legally binding document that must have describes how their relationship works. Leafay did tell you that Beatrice would never trust someone that she couldn't control. So she wouldn't only put herself in a situation where she had full control over Miriam's actions. But it's not enough that they ever show it to me. It'd be a tall order to even prove that the blood contracts even exist. I guess you have a point. But if you ask me, I think you've done a wonderful job so far. So it's just this once. Let me guide you the rest of the way. What? Tyrion, your eyes don't actually read minds. They give you the means to reveal the truths that are being concealed. You can pull the truth out of anyone and anything. The truth. So say it together with me. Madame Dweller of Anubis. Wait, what are you doing? By the eyes of Horus, I issue upon you a divine edict. Release thy guards and manifest your blood contract as Beatrice Frega. Yay! You did it, but how? Was that really your... No, that must not be important right now. She gave you what you needed. The rest is up to you. What in the nine hells was that? What did you learn too? Mr. Cuthbert, what just happened? Your Honor, I just made the witness manifest their blood contract. You did what? Blood contract? Take it as a legally binding document. It lays out the terms of the pact between Beatrice Frega and her familiar. Incredible! Where did you learn to do such a thing? The library? Wow, to think that our kingdom has access to such knowledge. Yeah, I'm not buying. How did you really find out how to do that? It's a long story. You're not sure if she'll believe you, even if you told her. Anyways, the defense argument is such. Venom was acting alone, and the defendant is not to blame for his actions that night. However, take a look at page 7 of this blood contract. Did we actually read the whole blood contract? It's a legal document, but it's 50 pages long, but luckily you somehow accessed the exact section you needed. Valerie was prohibited from killing or injuring any at all of humans. Beatrice Frege can designate individuals that are exempt from this rule. Except individuals will only remain in force for 24 hours. After that, Miriam cannot harm them unless told otherwise. And specifies that motive is from killing anyone, from killing any and all humans. There's only one scenario where he can do so. And that's when Beatrice Frege designates someone to be exempt from this rule. You! Beatrice Frege, you did directly order Miriam to kill your father. But you implied it by telling Miriam that he could kill him. Not only that, you did so within 24 hours of the Lord's Ball. Your intent was clear. You brought Miriam into the Frege manor with full knowledge that he could and would kill William Frege. And that is checkmate. And just when I thought the surprises were over. But in the end, we arrived at the truce. I suppose I can't disagree with that. What do you have to say for yourself, Lady Frege? Do not call me that. It's almost funny that you hate your name that much. Your entire plan depended on you to claim it to be claimed to the Frege estate. Do you have any idea what you just cost me? Everything has been ruined because of you. Why should I care? You're just another noble, trying to steal power for yourself. Did you dare lump me in together with those Tyrions? We wouldn't have just liberated House Frege, we would liberate everyone! Miriam, Lefa, Arya, even Aster. Our system is broken. The only way we can fix it is by burning it down from the inside. As long as our King Oliver sits on the throne, the suffering will only continue. Lady Frege, as the prosecutor, I should warn you. You do not want to add treason to your list of crimes. Even though you would like to see her kingdom outside as much as she does. It doesn't matter. I'm done either way. Heavensborn. Look at page 46 of the blood contract. By accepting this pact, Beatrice Frege forever binds her souls to the abyssal hells. If Beatrice Frege fails to pay her debts by claiming House Frege and all of its assets, her soul, her mind, and her life will be claimed by the Empress of Discord? This contract goes to the name of several parts of House Frege's holdings. It's very really loom for ambiguity. Arya was almost right. She just jumped to the wrong conclusion. My debts were never to the Eye Taker. They were to the abyssal hells. Why would they agree to something like this? Because I miscalculated. In this folder are records of my many plots against the House Steelwind and the Crown. It would be a shame if this information fell into their hands. You think this is a feeble attempt to blackmail was frightened me? I have dealt with far more impermissible advisories than you. There's nothing that can solve I can solve with House Frege's resources. What are you talking about? Lucio Steelwind isn't the type of person you can just buy. It's clear your time has taught you nothing. Your way has taught you nothing. Everyone can be bought. Before I left, he controlled every aspect of my life. I saw him as the unstoppable tyrannical force, but I never even considered one possibility. That William Frege was a sheltered moron. He honestly thought he could pay off Lucio Steelwind. Anyone who met him would know that that would never work. I could send this information to House Steelwind and the kin, but I was running out of time. I needed to inherit House Frege as soon as I could. I felt trapped. I felt angry. I just wanted something to change. Something about this feels wrong. Something deep inside you is crying out in anger. And a blood contract is still a legal contract, isn't it? What? If it's a contract, we can dispel it. We can find some kind of loophole to get you out of it. What? Trying to redeem the enemy you just defeated? You really are a Heavensborn. I'm sorry, Mr. Cuthbert, but I won't accept your help. What? Why? We can all at least try, right? Did you seriously come this far just so you could die? To disrupt the complex is to bet your own soul. If you fail to render it null, your soul dragged alongside hers. Even if your divine blood won't save you from that fight. But still, I can't just... You've beaten me, Mr. Cuthbert. I don't want to drag anyone else down with me anymore. Not you, not Leafay, not Miriam. Despite everything, I still have my dignity. I believe there's no further to prolong this trial. Bailiff, please escort Lady Freyga and her familiar to a holding cell. I'll be passing my verdict shortly. Hey, are you okay? Yeah, as okay I can be. You still feel uneasy about how things turned out. It doesn't feel like quite the victory you were hoping for. You fought against the demons, and you can't help but you felt like you lost. Cuthbert, we need to talk. What's done is done. The boss isn't gonna take kindly to what you've done today. I know it's a long shot, but if you could talk to him, he will. No. Cuthbert, this is serious. He's going to send people after you. Dangerous people. You can't just ignore this. How old were you? 10 years old? Tormio felt like the adult in the situation. What did she do? She fed your anger and hatred for the mobility instead of following you to process your grief healthily. Tormio took you away from your only friends and isolated you from society. As a result, you never formed any other relationships. She isolated you because she wanted to use you. Please just listen to me and shut up! Tyrion, how could you do this? How could you work with criminals? Cuthbert, everything you told me, all those ideals about protecting the weak, it's all a lie. Everything Commander White said about you is true, isn't it? Just trying to... I don't want your help! As you yell at her, your voice echoes through the lobby. Several other people turn silent. I gave up everything for you. My childhood, my home, my happiness. I left it all behind to chase the ideal that you told me you were fighting for. But it was never real, was it? You made me throw away everything. All for a goddamn lie. But I'll make it real. I'll do it without you. Tyrion, As she reaches your hand out to you, you step away from her. You never cared about me, did you? All you cared about was using the Eye of Horus. That's not! Shut up! I don't want to hear any more of your damn lies! Go away! Get the hell away from me! I never want to see you again! Without a word, she walks away from you. Tyrion. She reaches out your hand to hold your hand again, but she hesitates this time. Do you honestly think Celeste will ever love you? I'm sure you'll understand now. Tommy, I can only afford to pay her exorbitant salary because of my father. You already burned that bridge, so where do you think the Crimson Demon will go when you can't afford her services anymore? Do you think she'll have the luxury of playing you around for free? Or did you actually think she enjoys spending time with you? Tyrion, you have to look at this rationally. Any support of her affection she's giving you is only to keep an eye as an employer. No. What? I can't believe it. We actually won. Tyrion, Celeste, there's no way for you to avoid checkmate next turn. Just surrender. There! What about that? Checkmate. Damn it! You've been acting weird since we arrived in Astenax. Does it have something to do with your mother? Please, just talk to me. I'm your friend, aren't I? Your hands start trembling. Why are you so scared right now? You feel Celeste hold your trembling hands from behind you. It's the same sensation you felt back then. Your anxiety fades and you take a deep breath. I'm not gonna do that, Miss Tomria. As she hesitates to hold your hand, you reach out and grasp it. She smiles as you take hold of it. She seemed glad you didn't pull away this time. Without thinking, you pull her into a hug. Huh? Sorry, I just really need this right now. Should I stop? No, it's just... People are staring at us. Who cares what they think? They're nobles. They're gonna hate us no matter what we do. You're still unsure what you're gonna do next. But perhaps you don't need to. Even with Tomria's ideal with a lie. Hey, Celeste. There's been something I've been wanting to tell you about. What is it? It's hard to explain, really. I don't even know where to begin. But it's about an ability I have. I call it the Eye of Horus. Even that idea was a lie. You have the power to make it real. And even if you can't trust Tomoya anymore, you have people in your life that you can trust. God damn it. My voice. How did I know this episode was going to end? It was that. Okay. Oh, what a fine mess this is. That kid's completely and utterly ruined everything. As much as Tomoya hates it, we're gonna need to pull him into the ground. I don't think that will be necessary. Sorry, love. I know you're fond of him, but I can't let an insult like this go unanswered. He's going to leave it. He's gonna have to pay his price. I think you misunderstood me, Father. I meant that this facade is no longer necessary. What the hell? There's something wrong, Father. Who the hell are you? You look nothing like my daughter. So why? It happened centuries ago, I believe. Your great ancestor hated the monarchy and needed a weapon to fight the mages of the noble house. So he made a pact with me. What are you talking about? But things didn't turn out like he wanted, I'm afraid. Poor little Leaf Man's plot was discovered, and his noble house was stripped of its rank and status. His very name was stricken from the annals of history. Or was he supposed to... He was supposed to give me away of Vanguard, but I had to settle for claiming his bloodline. Lyrian? How do you know about my name? No one knew about that name, not even my real daughter! I know it's been centuries, but I haven't forgotten, John. Everyone in your line belongs to me, including your daughter. You bastard! What did you do to her? What did I do to all my prey? I made her suffer. No! Did you know that she was crying out for you for months? I made her watch, you know. I made her watch as I took her place. While the father she so desperately called out for her forgot all about who she was. All while my minions slowly and painfully tore her soul apart. You monster! You goddamn monster! I enjoyed her torment when it lasted. But even that couldn't satisfy me. What I really crave is the blood of a celestial. That's what this is about? That stupid kid? I can't have you kill my dear Tyrion just yet. At least not until I'm done with him. You goddamn demon, I'll kill you! This man is your enemy. Your life goal is, and has always been, to exact revenge on him. What the hell are you talking about? I lost everything because of you. They kicked me out of the Inquisition because of your false testimony. What? Let me go. You killed my entire family. How won't you let you get away with this? What are you talking about? I didn't do anything. Hey, isn't that the noble who killed all those children? I heard him got released by paying off the judge. What are y'all talking about? Get away from me! Don't lie to us. We know what you did. No, stay away! Ah! We finally entered the final act, my dearest Tyrion. And from what I've seen, I think I know exactly how I'm going to break you. I hope you're not just excited. I hope you're just as excited as I am. Well, that was a lot to unpack. Also, ENVtuber Studios, what are you doing? Why am I frozen? Hold on, just a second. Why am I frozen? Okay, not so frozen anymore. I think we'll start a little bit of the final episode tonight. I killed people. They were usually criminals or bandits, but it still frightened me at how infected I was by their deaths. It always came so easily. I was so good at it. A little too good. Oh god! Fucking shit! VTuber Studios! Hold on just a second. Why are you doing this to me, VTuber Studios? I think it's the classic case if I just need to close it and reopen But I never felt that uneasiness, not even once. It made me think that I was some kind of unfeeling monster. And maybe I am. But the time I spent with you filled me with more happiness than I could have ever dreamed of. Instead of the taking lives, I could save them alongside you. It felt good to protect you. I felt I felt needed even when I knew you were relying on me. It made me feel like I was actually worth something to somebody. And whenever I saw the light in your eyes, it filled my heart with a warm feeling that could never be felt before. But it was too good to be true, wasn't it? In the end, I failed you. I couldn't protect you, just like I couldn't protect my father. I don't understand. What did you ever see in someone like me? Tyrion? Okay. So it looks like VTuber Studios is fine. Now that I, opened and reopened it. But of course I have to switch things around because of goddamn. Oh, fucking You know what? We're gonna deal with it. You still haven't gotten out of bed yet. It's almost noon. I think I just wanted to rest today. You've been saying that for the last 10 days! Someone's actually here to see you. You should really get out of bed. Is it Tomrio? No. He's not really in the mood. Can you just send them away? That's a bit rude, but I suppose I can overlook it this time. Steelwind? As the prosecutor enters your room, you immediately leap out of your bed. You try to futilely clean your unkempt hair, but you just keep making it worse. Tyrion, pants! Right, sorry. Well, we'll give you some time. We'll give you some time to ready yourself. Wait, we? I knew he was in a rut, but I certainly didn't expect this. I know. I'm really worried about him. I empathize with the situation, but it's been a month already. Have you tried speaking with him? He has opened up to you before. I did, but I think he's really broken up. He's really broken over what happened with Ruby. She's basically the closest thing he had to family. I see. Perhaps he just needs more time. After taking some time to make yourself presentable, you exit your room to greet the prosecutor properly. Sorry about that. No, I suppose the fault is mine. I shouldn't have intruded. Anyways, what brings you here? Are you doing well, Mr. Cuthbert? You seem... I'm fine. Of course. I just couldn't help but notice your absence. You haven't taken any other clients since Beatrice's trial. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not even sure I want to be a defense attorney anymore. What? I spent my whole life training to be one, but I was only doing it because someone else told me to. Did you enjoy it? You are very skilled at it. I don't know. I've been trying to take some time to think about everything, but you still haven't found any answers. Have you considered becoming a prosecutor? Your time as my stand-in made it clear that you have the ability to. A prosecutor? You would have never even considered that a year ago. But you understand now that there are criminals who need to be brought to justice. Despite how difficult she is to face, Steelwind then never engages in outright corruption like the other prosecutors of the Crown. If you follow her in her examples, you could fight injustice that way. But even if you did that, you'd just be following in someone else's footsteps, just like before. I'll think about it. Please do. At this point, I could use all the help I can find. Have your injuries been healing well? Yes. Nightgar's skill in necromancy is quite remarkable. I'm glad I introduced him to House Apicius. Apicius? House Apicius specializes in the study of necromancy. After Nightgar's expulsion from the academy, I thought it was only right that he be allowed to continue his studies. Right. He mentioned that he owed you a favor. It's only logical. It'd be a waste to let someone of his talent fade into obscurity. You're glad that Wallace was able to continue his studies. He clearly wants to use his talent to better society. He's definitely in a better place than you are right now. Even so, should you still be moving around like this? You should be taking some time to recover. As much as I would like to, there's been a recent uptick in the cases of mage blight lately. Mage blight. You recall hearing about this that many times. As a mage exceeds their stamina by overusing their magic, it starts to affect the mind and sends them to a frenzy. To make matters worse, the nobility has been trying to suppress information about these incidents. Right. It's not a good look whenever a mage just goes on a murderous rampage. I was actually surprised to see you here, Celeste. Well, I can't just leave him alone anymore. He ticked off every crime lord. He ticked off a crime overlord. They're definitely gonna send someone after him. And he can't really take care of himself right now. Celeste, your thoughts are leaking. Hey, get out of my head! What? It's nothing. We should probably tell Arya. I'm surprised though. Not many people cite the Eye Taker and live. He's known for taking swift retaliation against his enemies. We're hoping he lays low after his plans with Beatrice fell through. That does match up with reports I've read. Supposedly, he's been absent from many of his enterprises. Either way, you're not looking forward to deal with him. Well, he's kind of dead. It's bad enough that you already are on the nobility's bad side. By the way, Tyrion, Ruby sent another letter. Do you want to? Put it with the rest. Right. Have you spoken with her since the trial? I see. That does explain her recent mood. Right, you two probably see each other a lot. I prosecuted a few of her clients recently, but it's clear she's not nearly as threatening as before. Could we talk about something else? Of course. My apologies. Oh, the tea's ready! Oh, thank you. Some tea sounds lovely right now. Right. I was totally making it for you guys. She walks over to the cabinet in your kitchen and she takes out 2 more teacups. You guys better enjoy this. These are my last bags of... Whoa! As she walks over to you, she slips out a scroll case that you left on the floor. She regains her balance, but the teacups slip out her hands. Boiling liquid is airborne and headed right towards your face. Frigga! Celeste exits the meeting and points her index finger at the tea. Her magic takes hold, and the tea freezes just inches before your face. She breathes a sigh of relief, and she brings the tea back into their cups. You really need to clean this place. I'm your bodyguard, not your maid. Right. Sorry about that. That was cheap liquid, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh, I never expected you to. I know, but it's just too convenient not to have. She's really opened her mind about learning new spells. You remember when you first met her, back then, when she only knew how to cast Mage Blade. She hated magic back then, but you never imagined how diverse her repertoire has become. Another visitor? I'm already up, I'll check it. Well, whoever they are, I'm not giving any more of my lotus tea. You open the door and don't see anyone, but there's a letter in your mailbox. You take a closer look at the envelope. It's sealed with a candle wax. There's a crest on it. It's the insignia of House Pierce! You quickly open the letter and read it. Despite supposedly being written by a noble, the paper has been torn in half, but the message is clear. I hope you understand. I'll never contact you unless I had no other choice. I know the truth behind the McCoy's true parentage, and I'm aware of how vital this information is to you. As you know, my execution is scheduled for next month, and I'm running out of time. I want to trade this information with you. In exchange, you will grant me my freedom. Meet me in the private prayer room in the Grand Cathedral of the Scaled Lord at 2 p.m. And you will save me from my fate, or else. What? If he sinks for a second, we'd even think of helping him. I know how you feel, but aren't these the answers you've been looking for? I don't care! We're not gonna help him! That was never an option. There's clearly more to this. I agree. How's he able to find out in the first place? The truth is, Celeste, I've also been looking into your parentage. What? Why didn't you say anything? I'm sorry, but I didn't want to raise your hopes. And I was a parent, really to do so. I couldn't find any information regarding your birth. So if you couldn't find anything, how was Pierce able to? As Pierce is low on the political hierarchy, he doesn't have access to the resources I do. He does own the land the McCoy's Tavern is on. But frankly, this whole situation is quite suspect. And why would he ask for my help? I was the one who indicated him in the first place. Even if I did agree to help him, it would be nearly impossible for me to get him an acquittal. He must be desperate. His execution is scheduled for next month, after all. It's possible that he reached out to Tomria as well. Still, I can't believe he'd set up a meeting at the Grand Cathedral today of all days. Why? What's happening there? I'm sorry, but that's not my place to tell you. Arya, can I talk with Tyrion alone for a moment? Of course. I'm sure you have much to discuss. I actually also have business at the cathedral today. It's her wedding, isn't it? Today is her wedding, isn't it? I'll be taking my leave. I'm sorry. I'm sure this just brings up bad memories for you. We should meet with him. What? We're not going to help him, obviously. But I had an idea. He probably is really scared of his execution, right? And he's so desperate enough to ask you for help. I suppose that's true. So, think about it, how stressed you'd be if you showed up and refused to help him. I could use the Eye of Horus on him. We can get the info we need without having to give him anything! But are you really okay with this? You have to see him again. Yeah, I'll manage. And it'll be worth it if we can finally get the answers I'm looking for. You already got her hopes up, but there's no guarantee that he actually knows the truth. He could just be bluffing to get you to help him. But if he does know, you can't just ignore this. You need to verify his claims for yourself. So this is the Grand Cathedral of the Scaled Lord? Have you never been here before? I thought you'd spent a lot of time in the Rat Ulm. The Church of Basildon wasn't popular in my hometown, but I'd never been the religious type. What about you? It's never really caught on with me, and apparently my roots are more celestial than demonic. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Certainly has looks for it. Your sauce are leaking again. Can you stop? I can't exactly turn it off, you know. I'm so glad that Celeste knows about this now. It's good. Do those mental exercises I taught you? Ugh. As you approach the Grand Cathedral, you see a large blockade guarded the legions of Kingsguard. Is it closed off? Is there some kind of event going on? Your call seal when she mentioned that she was heading here as well. The nobility must be using the cathedral grounds for something. It might be explained why Pierce wanted to meet you here. Probably scheduled from praying eyes today. Tyrion Cuthbert, as you approach the blockade, one of the knights notices you. He glances at you and Celeste. We've been expecting you. I see. You exchange glances with Celeste, but you both enter the cathedral grounds. The main building is massive, yet mostly empty. You only see a few people within, and most of them are quite familiar. Life and Miriam, as you spot Life and Miriam as you head further into the room. They both avoid eye contact with you, but it doesn't seem to be purely out of resentment. As soon as they see you, they move their conversation elsewhere. It's clear that they still have mixed feelings about how you convicted their sister. In another corner of the room, you spot Lord Vansecta speaking with another individual. She seems to be of equal social status. You feel like you've seen her somewhere before, but you can't quite remember where. As soon as you enter the room, Von Sanctus flashes a quick look at disdain at you. You see him slowly move his conversation out of the room as well. And finally, you see Lucio Steelwind speaking with his daughter, along with the two princes. They seem to be speaking with another individual that you haven't met before. When he notices you, his gaze narrows, and he stares at the two of you warily. Aster especially seems surprised to see you here. He and Lucio ask to prosecute something, but you can't really quite hear the conversation. And she responds. Aster raises his eyebrow and Lucio's expression darkens. What's going on here? It's a little awkward. Yeah. But we have some time before our meeting with Pierce. Want to do some sightseeing? Oh, are you asking me out? We are literally already out. Sure, why not? I picked up this map at the entrance. We can use it to navigate to the area. I'm also a little interested in what all these nobles are doing here. It's strange. Perhaps someone could tell you more. I think I saw Arya there. We should just go say hi. As you approach the group, the Grand General and the unnamed noble stare at the two of you. Hello? The nobles look at you and then the Celeste. He silently scans the two of you. It's as if he's trying to read something. And he walks away without a word. Rude. At this point, I'm kind of used to it. Mr. Cuthbert and Miss McCoy, surprised to see you here. What? I thought you two were... I thought you were the one who invited them. They are... He is like my biggest fan after. I will always... See, Aster has two nicknames. My biggest fan or the goddamn prince. Because he is the goddamn prince. I'm sad to say that I didn't. Although, I am happy to see you two nonetheless. What brings you here to the Grand Cathedral today? We're actually invited by another noble. We have a meeting with him. What? No, none of other people were allowed to invite guests. Why didn't the guards stop you? Oh, they said they were expecting us? What? It was Lord Pierce who invited them. Pierce? That little... It's a thing I granted his request for a temporary release. I'm sure he meant no disrespect by it. He probably had his reasons. How could you say that? This is the day of your... He stops himself mid-sentence. Yep, it's their wedding. It's absolutely their wedding. Make no mistake. Even if he is a dead man, I will have his words with him about this. I have to ask, why are all these nobles gathered here today? You have taken over the entire Grand Cathedral. As you answer that question, everyone seems to tense up. The prosecutor awkwardly looks at the two princes. Prince Aztec avoids contact with everyone and just stares at the ground. I'm sorry, but I'm not at liberty to tell you that. It's a matter of public safety. I see. It's a little strange, but you can read the room. Praying isn't the best thing to do right now. You said that Lord Pierce invited you here. For what reason? I can't really tell you that. You will tell us if it poses a threat to the nobles in attendance. Please, Lord Steelwind, there's no need for that. Mr. Cuthbert will never do anything that would put anyone's life in danger. As you wish, your Majesty. Interesting. So Pierce was temporarily released to attend whatever this is. It's definitely a wedding. He couldn't meet with you in his cell, but perhaps he wanted to be taken away. Wanted to be away from praying eyes. Lady Steelwind, your Majesty, the High Speaker is ready to speak with you. Wonderful. I've been looking forward to this all day. Shall we go together, Miss Steelwind? Yes, your Majesty, she would like to accompany you. Wonderful. We shouldn't keep him waiting. Okay. Scale Lord, how does she plan to marry him if she can't even speak properly in his presence? Honestly. I also have something important to do. Good day to you, commoners. He's going towards the washroom. I will be taking my leave as well, but make no mistake. My men will be keeping an eye on you too. Thank you, Lord Steelwind! Everyone leaves the room now. You probably should move elsewhere. Well, first we're going to examine. There's rows upon rows of seats for all worshippers to sit at. At full capacity, this room could probably host thousands of people at a time. It's a stained glass window. A small ray of light, sunshine, shines through it.
Arcane.
Okay. Oh, what are you doing here? We were invited here? Did you follow us? Not intentionally. Trust me, you're the last person we wanted to see today. Hush now, Von Sanctus. If they are here by chance, it is because the cosmic balance wills it to so. Not this again. Sorry, but I don't think we've met. I am the Celebrant Celeste, Lady of House Syllabus. So this is the head of the fourth pillar family. Okay, so I knew we were talking about this family. She's not quite what you were expecting. Between her, Lucia, Lloyd, and William, she definitely seems the most agreeable. For better or worse, you've gotten to know the other pillar families decently well. It might be a benefit to you to learn about her. So you're the leader of House Syllable. What does your family do exactly? How are you this ignorant? I'm sorry, but this is the house we haven't done a trial with yet, Mr. the Lord Sanctus. Each of the four pillars, as you commoners call them, control different branches of the kingdom's government. House Steelman oversees national defense and law enforcement. House Frege oversees economic development and finances. House Von Sanctus handles commerce both locally and internationally. And finally, there's House Syllabus. We handle the kingdom's legal and judicial branches. That would also mean you're responsible for our kingdom's justice system. That's correct. Oh, wonderful. Here we go. Lady Sybil, are you aware that the rampant corruption happening within your justice system? I suppose it's only inevitable that you see it that way. Am I wrong? I've been involved in plenty of court cases, and it's very obvious. All your court cares about is closing cases quickly as possible. The system is corrupt to its core. The courts don't even try to hide it half the time. Yes, you prevail against the so-called corruption each and every one of your cases. Only against every conceivable odd. And I can't be everywhere. Do you even have any idea how many commoners were falsely convicted every day? If they are convicted under my system, it's only because the cosmic balance deems it so. What are you even talking about? The cosmic balance is the nature of order of things. Under it, the guilty are punished, but the innocent are protected. And yet, when a noble commits a crime, they only need to waive their influence to escape any consequences. All while their victims are forced to suffer in silence. Or worse, an innocent commoner is framed for the crime. Regardless of your personal feelings, our kingdom needs the ability to govern the people. If they were held the same standards as commoners, our society would surely collapse. You take back what you said about her being the most agreeable of the four pillars. So do you think nobles like Pierce and Von Sanctus should just be allowed to get away with murder? Are you still sore about that? I'm sure you realized it by now. I am more than paid for what happened with Justin Wayne. It's Justin Wayne! His name was Justin Wayne! And if you were truly paying for your crimes, you would be in prison right now. Von Sanctus made a mistake, but removing him from his position would only create more suffering. Our government is barely recovering from the death of William Frege. Ravengard can't suffer the loss of another house leader this close to that. Van Sanctus' trial was kind of before William's death. Also, we just have to wait like another 5 months, and then Lifa is the head of the house. The way I see it, I think you nobles overstate your importance in our lives. We'd probably be fine without you. And I suppose you commoners are capable of coordinating mineralogic incentives. Oh, and I suppose you also are capable of engaging in diplomacy with other nations. Face it, as much as you are loath to admit it, ours is a symbolic relationship. More like a parasitic relationship. So what? The common folks should just continue to suffer for the good of our nation? Lady Sybil, the people of your kingdom claim to be protected. You claim to be protecting are suffering because of your inaction. My inaction. Your place to blame me on that? But what have you done? You were once a champion of your so-called justice, but you stopped work as a defense attorney. How many lives could you have saved in the months that you spent on vacation? It's not his responsibility to solve your mess. You should have an idea how much he suffered trying to do the right thing. Celeste, perhaps you're right. He shouldn't bear that kind of responsibility alone. But every commoner has the ability to learn and practice law as you do, Mr. Cuthbert. So why are you one of the few commoners that do so? From what I heard, you're one of the few people who defend the mages of the common folk. Every other attorney would even wouldn't even consider taking them as clients. Perhaps the problem lies in the common folk then. They are fully capable of rising to defendants, so-called innocent, yet they do nothing. Never mind, this was clearly a mistake. Let's go, Celeste. Yeah. Finally, thanks, Scale Lord. I can't believe we have to deal with him so much. You okay? Yeah, I guess I should have expected that. But I never expected someone with so much power to be out of touch with reality. Come on, let's go somewhere else. We'll have some time before the meeting. You finally found yourself in the Grand Cathedral Garden and stumbled upon a strange statue. Wow, that's a little out of place. What even is that? If my memory is served correct, it's a Pegasus. Ah! Hello, friends! As you inspect the contemporary piece of artwork, you're startled by a familiar voice. And it looks like she's not alone either. Along with Eris, she seems to be accompanied by both her sisters. Beatrice, aren't you supposed to be dead? Sorry, I wasn't trying to say. No, it's perfectly understandable. You of all people know what's on my blood contract. But it appears that the Lady of Discord isn't going to kill me just yet. Ugh, you really have to do that? What? Never mind. Right. It's a little awkward speaking with the Frege sisters after everything that's happened. But they don't seem hostile. And all things considered, you prefer their company over the syllables. Although, you're still not sure how you feel about speaking with a murderer, especially one that you just indicated. But Beatrice clearly knows more about demons and their kind than you do. You wonder if she knows anything about the Heavenborns. So, you seem to be doing well, all things considered. You mean how a demon now has ownership of my soul? Yeah, that. How can you be so calm about this? I must agree with Miriam. It's unnerving how nonchalantly you're treating this. I suppose it's the knowledge. It's the knowledge that everything is out of my hands now. There's something peaceful about it. That's certainly a positive way to look at it. You know, my offer still stands. I could try to help you. At the risk of your own life. Which part of that contract would you dispute anyways? Divine Edric made you aware of every element in her blood contract. There was very little room for interpretation. It was all airtight. The demon I signed the contract with was very malicious about the details. I spent the last 5 years looking for any possible loopholes, but I didn't find any sustainable one I could use. I didn't even think disrupting it is possible. I'm sorry. Don't be. You defeated me. I won't suffer your pity. I feel like we always end up randomly meeting like this, Eris. What brings you here? I requested to accompany Beatrice to this event. After all, I don't have many opportunities to enter a church like this. I can imagine. By the way, is your father still... Oh, if you're worried about him. We already had a conversation about you. I don't think he'll be accosting you anytime soon. Oh, thank you. That seems too good to be true. How do you even put something like that off? He may look like a hardened criminal, but he's always had a soft spot for his family. He also owns me, and I have a way of people making things my way. She's right about that. Wait, if you're here, does that mean that Moron is also... Oh, heavens no. There's no way they'll let me bring him here of all places. I let him at the entrance of the King's Guard. If he tries to escape, that knight over there is ordered to kill me. She gestures towards the knight, silently watching her sisters from afar. You're surprisingly calm about this. Please, I regularly deal with demons. This is nothing in comparison to that. You really haven't changed. I suppose not. Wait, does that mean you can't see right now? How do you know which statue I was looking at? It was a lucky guess. That grotesque statue certainly makes an impression on you. Oh, Madame just spoke with me. He wanted to let me know that he could smell your celestial stink from the entrance. Love you too, Maron! Oh, there goes my headphone. I will charge them tonight. Oh, wow. I probably shouldn't repeat his response to that. Yeah, don't get the Twitch TOS on me here, Beatrice. By the way, you seem to know a lot more about these things than I do. What exactly is a Heavenborn? What? Do you seriously not know? But you know how to issue a divine edict. Edict. That is a very advanced technique. It sort of came to me in the moment. What? Anyways, I'm quite surprised you don't know about your lineage. Perhaps my mother knew, but I lost her when I was really young. I see. You have my condolences. But to answer your question, a Heavensborn is a human whose bloodline has been touched by the gods. Gods? You might mean like the Scale Lord? No, I'm speaking of the actual gods. Beatrice, you can't say that here. Oh, come off it. What's the church gonna do? Arrest me? I'm already planned to die. Anyways, your blood has been touched by the celestial of the upper planes. Much like my soul has bound to the abyssal hell, your soul is concentrated and tied to the heavens. The heavens? Is that why you're able to use the Eye of Horus? Some kind of angelic power? Make no mistake, though. If you find yourself under the wrong circumstances, even you can be sent to hell. The Church of Belthnew was private in Rivengard. This is the first time I've heard about the celestial gods. Ah, that makes sense. It's probably because of Rivengard's bloody history with the Transaki of Lumia. The Transaki. Aren't they the nation east of us? Yes, the Luminous worships the celestial gods, while our people worship the ancient dragons. A few centuries ago, our nation was locked in a bitter war with the Luminites. Even now, the Crown sees the celestial regions as a threat to our draconic culture. The Church has done its best to wipe out any religion that worships the Celestials. I see. But if your bloodline is blessed by the Celestials, does that mean our kids will also be Heavensborn? I suppose so. I think my mother was also a... Wait, what did you just say? Your kids! I asked if your kids would be Heavenborns! Oh, I must have misheard you then. Wow. If only you were always this easy to lie to. Anyways, I'm a little curious about the Transaki of Lumia. If they worship Celestials there, would I find other Heavensborns there? Heavensborn aren't common there either. Frankly, I'm surprised there was even one Heavensborn living in Rivengard. How did your bloodline even find its way here? I suppose I don't really know. My mother never told me much about our ancestry. That makes sense. If the Church of Belthnew knew what you were, they would have definitely hunted you down. Great! The last thing you need is another fraction that wants to kill you! Okay? We're just destined to be wanted to get murdered. I thought we were just a simple defense attorney here. Anyways, traveling into and out of Rivengard is technically illegal. And I doubt the Lord Steelwind would make an exception for you. After all, House Steelwind has essentially founded by veterans of the Great Luminite War. Veterans? Vet! Oh no! No! I hate the vet! I'm not going! You'll never take me alive! Oh, poor Tracker! Your poor Tracker! You always watch Track frankly runs around the garden barking loudly. Leafay chases after him and as he runs towards the passing night. I should probably go help her. It's almost 2 p.m. anyways. We should head to the prayer room. Thank you for answering my questions, Beatrice. Please let me know if there's anything I can do to help you with your situation. Of course. Let's go, Celeste. Right! Try not to look so down. It's almost time for the main event. Why did you bring me here? Oh, who knows? Whatever you're planning to make me do. Please don't make me harm my sisters. You're not in a position to make demands. You'll just have to see for yourself. Stay safe, Mr. Cuthbert. Wait, hold on. I wanted to examine the statue. This statue. I can only feel its suffering. What? Its face is contorted into an expression of pure agony. It screams out in terror, yet no one can hear its plea for mercy. Someone ignorant of its plight has placed some sort of event party hat on top of its head. It's as if they're mocking its torment, like some kind of demon torturing a poor soul in the fear of the avernus. What are you even saying? I'm sorry. I need to take a moment to think about what I just witnessed here. We all should. Right, Tyrion. You go do that.
Prepario Arcanum.
Okay, to the prayer room. Are you ready? Yeah. At least, I hope so. If it becomes too much for you, don't hesitate to leave. I only need a few moments to look into his mind. No, I'm the one who asked you to do this. I'm not going to leave you alone with him. Alright, if that's what you want. Tyrion? Yeah? Thank you for doing this. It really means a lot to me. Of course, this will finally give you the answers you've been looking for. It's not just that. You've done so much for me since I met you. You got me acquitted. You helped me work through my grief with my dad. Feels like I can never repay for that. What are you talking about? For the past few months, all I've been doing is relying on you. I generally don't know what I'd do if you weren't a part of my life. Tell me what? Ah! Get out of my head! You're really bad at guarding your mind. You know you can tell me anything, right? Hi. Arya! How long have you been standing there? Well, I knew you'd be here around this time. I wanted to wish you luck. But then you two seemed to be in the middle of something. I didn't want to interrupt. Don't stop on my account. I'll just get out of your way. As she awkwardly skitters away, you see something falling out of her pocket. Oh, Arya, you dropped your runestone! As Celeste picks up the runestone, she accidentally activates it. Imagine a piece of evidence appears. An image of a piece of evidence appears for a brief moment, but Arya quickly hides it. But not before Celeste sneaks a peek at it. Oh, I see. Celeste, don't just invade her privacy like that. Don't be like that. I'm really happy for you. Thank you. Good luck. As a part of you really want to know what she saw, but the other news exerts some self-restraint. Anyways, let's go meet with him. Yeah, let's do that. You finally arrived. I suppose this means you finally decided. Wait, you two! We got your letter. Letter? What letter? You sent us a letter, Pierce. It says that you knew who Celeste's parents were. I did send that letter, but not to you two. What? I don't like this. So the final act begins. I've been waiting for this. What the hell are you doing? Have you gone mad? No! What are you doing? Stop! Lady Steelwind, what are you? Is this also the will of the cosmic balance? Come on, just tell us the truth, Pierce. You're the last person I would go on to give this information to. He's getting more and more stressed. Just a little more and you'll... As you interrogate him, you suddenly hear loud crashes outside the room. What was that? I'm going to take a look and see what's going on. What are you just gonna leave us here? He's right. We don't know what's going on. We should stay together. Don't worry. There's 2 guards outside. They're from the King's Guard. He'll be fine. What I'm worried about. But I trust your judgment. What? It's been 10 minutes since Celeste went to investigate the noise. Pierce seems extremely on edge. He's still sitting on the table, patiently tapping his surface with his finger. So, you never intended to send that letter to me. Who did you send it to then? Oh, as if I would ever tell you that! Lucky for you, he should have accumulated more stress by now. What? What are you looking at me like that? Even if I wasn't intended to receive it, I saw that you knew who Celeste's biological parents are. Who are they? Are you seriously focused on that now? It's far too important, and it's my only bargaining chip. Answer the question, Pierce. What was that? Sonush! What is this? A blue luminous vapor enters the room. As soon as it makes contact with you, you feel extremely fatigued. Damn it! It's a sleep spell! I miscalculated. No, it got here. That means less. You try their hardest to stay conscious, but the spell is too powerful. You feel your body fully dropping to the ground. No. Beatrice? Yes! I would like to save my data. And this is where we're gonna stop for tonight. Thank you all for joining tonight. It was very lovely. And my voice is crying. I was about to say my voice is crying. No, I am in emotional wreck right now. Like, what's going on? We still have answers. There's still answers to our questions that need to be answered. You know, as one would do. But now we just have more questions being appraised. So at this point, I'm just gonna see if I can quickly find someone in whom I can raid. If there is anybody, that is. You know what? We haven't raided Justin in a while. So we're gonna go just do that real quick, and I'll see you guys probably on. I might continue. I'll be real with you. I might continue this on Saturday because the rest of the crew is out of town. Well, most of the rest of the crew is out of town. So I don't think we're not gonna be doing a couple mods this weekend. So I just kind of also want to finish this. So I might continue on Saturday. I don't know. I'll do something Saturday. I don't know what yet. So bye.